Hello, everyone. Welcome back to more chess. Playing white against Brundle. I don't know. Let's just keep opening e4. One of these days, I'll try something else, but not today. What is this button, by the way? Resign? Abort. Ah, it's too early to resign. Interesting. I thought I turned off the ability to propose takebacks. I thought the button's still here. It's just not clickable. Well, what's the point then? There's this check. I think they would not love pawn here just because it blocks in their knight. But they could block with knight or bishop. I think this is a fine move. If they block with bishop, maybe I trade it in, I don't know. But if they block with knight, I'll maintain the pin, and if they block with pawn, I'll back off. Okay, they did the thing that makes me like not totally sure what to do. I can develop this knight and like hang on to this guy for a bit and maintain the tension. That seems fine. And then back off. I don't want to engage. I don't want to initiate the trade and let their queen or knight get a little bit more developed for free. Okay, that was enough for me. I will now relax all the way back to here. I don't know. Was that really worth it? Who can say? I win a pawn here in exchange for this? I don't think I care that much about activating their rook. I think I want the pawn, right? And I'll take with knight first, because then when I retake, it's with bishop, and they have to block something again. And also, I kind of want to... I want to keep the bishop alive, yeah. The bishop pair is generally good. If they block with knight, I think I'm happy to trade, even though, yes, I do enjoy having the bishop pair. But I think more than that, I would sort of like to simplify a bit. But since they're going in with the pawn, I will just back up. Now, do I want to go here? How far do I want to go? Earlier I went here, but the pawn structure has changed. I could go for this, but then here, clicking. Here, here, here. Here. Like, I don't really have much support. This square just falls apart regardless. So I think let's just go all the way back here. Keep the king and the knight supported. Well, the king kind of defended and the knight not defended exactly. Shielded, maybe? Defended usually means you could capture a piece that captures it, and so you can't really defend the king. But this saves the king from some things that might otherwise inconvenience him. I think I'm all right with this. Ooh, it's very sad for the bishop, though. He'd be pretty unhappy overall. Well, I mean, the ability to move this pawn is why I went here instead of here. I think this is still worth it, even though it makes this bishop pretty sad. We'll get him out there one of these days. And now we can get this one, so... let's start looking a bit at undefended pieces, since that sort of matters. The rook, the pawn, and on my side, this pawn, and both rooks. Also that rook. Can I not just take this pawn? Oh, that's now undefended. Yeah, I was like, wait a minute, didn't I miss this? No, it wasn't undefended earlier. So suppose takes here, they can start this trade. And then win this pawn, I see. So here takes takes. But if they actually want to win the pawn, they have to trade queens, which I don't think they want. Is there anything else they could do after this move? I guess I could just take with queen, but I guess that's okay. Oh, right, but sorry, I was going to do this. So here... Okay, so could I do this first and still have this threat? The answer is no, because queen takes defends this. So if I want it, I have to go for it now. And I think I will. The exciting thing about takes is that they don't even have the option to ruin my castling position because the bishop is here like a miraculous defender. So I get to do this if it's going to happen. Could I try something cheeky like defending this guy? I don't think so. Because if they do anything to deflect my bishop or pile up on the knight, it's just like really these two are held together very delicately. The bishop's undefended, who's supporting the knight, who has no other defenders. So I think I just have to get out of town. But that seems fine. I could even go here and attack this knight. Supported by the bishop. But I'm using this bishop. I don't really want to do that. He's doing good work. Let's just go here. I see. But now they're not exposed to this anymore. So they do get to get the pawn back. Takes, takes, takes. But the bishop is a little bit restricted. So they don't want to allow this trade. Not restricted enough that I can do anything about it, I don't think. They really have to take here because this is otherwise pretty brutal, I think. What? So here, right? What's wrong with this? The knight's supporting it. It's forking these two pieces. I guess they could escape with check. With bishop to b4. And then get out with the knight. And I've just given up a pawn. Like, I've made this pawn harder to defend for no very good reason. Although, I'm not sure about that. Push. The only way to escape with check is here, and I can do this. And now I still have pawns attacking two of your pieces. I think this is good. I could almost pre-move this. I feel like they'll certainly try that. Obviously, I'm not going to pre-move, but I don't know. Maybe they'll analyze it, realize it doesn't work, and see that this is a way to at least pick up a pawn in the process. Okay. I guess I definitely could have pre-moved this, because if it's legal, it's a good move. This game is going great. We're somehow up like two. We're up a pawn and a piece. I don't really know how this happened. I guess I do. They dropped a pawn earlier, and just now they dropped a piece. So, mystery solved. Now, this pawn is obviously, like, threatening. Not threatening anything in particular, it's just like you don't want a pawn to be established this far into your position. So I could try something like this to dislodge it, but I think they just defend. And then if takes, takes. And then I have trouble attacking it again. I guess this would be the way to attack it again. But I don't want to do that because there's a queen guarding it. Okay, so black's compensation for the material disadvantage will be this immense pawn, I suppose. For the moment, anyway. I could just get my knight back to safety before I, like, castle. Or I could castle immediately. There are some threats about having the e-file available. Sure, let's do that. I think I can always take the knight to c4 next turn. Next move. He's my only undefended piece besides this rook. Okay. Here. Threatening here, I think. I'm starting to be a little bit concerned about the e-file, actually, now that I have this undefended knight and this weakly defended bishop both hanging out there. I think I should probably get off the file now before something bad happens. Oh, I could attack the pawn, actually, if I go here. It puts the bishop in a pickle. But I think this is fine. I guess also, once I do this, I threaten this as a way to attack the pawn again. Whoa! What? You're just giving up the pawn? Is there some cool knight continuation? If he goes to here or here after this, what do I care? Kind of think I don't. Nothing that's a jump away from either of these is that big a problem. I wasn't prepared to win the pawn so easily, but here we are. Well, the game continues to go well. I must say that much. I don't want to overstate my advantage too much, but I don't think there's any big positional things going on against me except maybe this file, and, you know, my opponent's pieces are a bit better developed, I suppose. But not much more, really. And, I mean, we could bring the knight to safety, or just get the bishop defending. Nope, that drops this pawn. Or we can just pawn here. But this is not a very stable square for the knight anyway. They can chase him away soon. Do I want to make them do that? Not really. But do I mind doing this? I don't think so. Well, I guess actually this will come with some cool tempo someday, right? Because it x-rays the queen. It's probably worth doing. On the other hand, there's like here... Here? No, I'm covering that. I think this should be fine. The bishop can't be so easily made to move. And I threaten discoveries somewhere. Like this, maybe? Okay. So they're blocking that. That's fine. I could go here and attack this pawn. Currently defended twice. I would be then attacking it twice, and so another attacker would be enough. And it also pins the pawn. But I can't pile up on it without several more moves. So let's just go somewhere safe. Unless this? Threatening here? I don't really have enough to follow up with anything against like the king in the back, so I think I'll just go somewhere safe. And this pawn is still pinned, so that's nice. This is undefended. The queen's undefended. I've dropped this pawn, haven't I? When did that happen? Ah, when I tried this idea to attack the queen. I see. They had a tempo gaining move. That's why this worked. Yeah, okay. That was a mistake. I should have not played bishop there, but just pawn to support, I think. Or moved the knight immediately. Yeah. Okay. They don't want it. They're threatening this, I guess? I don't really care. You can have that. I don't have the bishop pair anymore, but I'm up a ton of material. I don't mind accepting a trade if that's what you're into. I guess I also could have defended like this. Because it reveals... No, it doesn't. Queen would still not be defending this square, even if I push this pawn. Okay, yeah. You're now piling up here, I see that. We can move the bishop, but there's only one... Well, I could put him here, actually. That might be fine. Yeah, let's just tuck him away a bit. I'm very defensive here. None of my pieces are any higher than the 3rd rank. But I think that that's a pretty fair reaction to how things have gone. Right? I'm like, I don't know. I guess I'm supposed to be pushing my advantage somehow, but... I'm like so far ahead that why would I? Now, what about this? This is kind of cool, isn't it? It attacks the queen, so she has to move, and it discovers an attacker on this knight. So the queen kind of has to move somewhere that defends the knight, right? And there's only these 3 squares that have that property. And here, I guess. And she doesn't want to go here because of the bishop. So one of these squares. But then I take the knight. Oh wow! I unleashed 2 attackers on the knight, so she can't defend. Yeah. And if she tries, my bishop just attacks her again. This is phenomenal. You could do this to... Well, no, because I would just take the queen first. Ah. So here, right, they can then take the knight. But then I get this knight. So I think this is insanely great. Well, let's not accidentally make a pre-move, but okay, they did what was expected. Is there something better? Something else I should do instead? No. There's not any back rank stuff going on. There's no one supporting the queen. And there's really no way for rooks to do it anytime soon. Is this a move? It attacks the queen, but she can retreat to any of these squares and be fine. But if she goes to one of those squares, she's not somewhere else. She's not here anymore, and that's what I don't want her over here. And then we'll probably do this, attacking the rook, and trying to get into position for something like this with queen here is, a long ways away, perhaps, but kind of the idea I'd like to work towards. Get out of my face, woman. I don't know. Maybe that's a little too has misogynistic overtones, doesn't it? Well, we won't say that then. Yeah, well, you're attacking the queen, the bishop, all right. But I think I can do this first. I don't know, can I? Maybe not. Here, of course, if they run away with the rook, it's fine. But what if they run away to somewhere that attacks the bishop? I guess they can't. What about here? Ooh. I wouldn't like that too much. I'd have to... Oh yeah, I would. I'd just take it with the bishop. I think I can do this. And then back off with the bishop to, like, here, probably. Here's an interesting fact. If you have a queen defending both of your bishops, then they can't both be on diagonals. One of them has to be along a rank or a file. How about that? Unless, of course, you've promoted to a second light square bishop or something, which is a little bit unusual. Okay. Moves back way up over here. Nicely supported. Basically impervious to attack. They might want to do something like this, I guess, but I think we're okay to deflect it like here. All right, that's fine, I guess. I could go all the way up here and just lose the bishop. Seems bad. Let's just go here. defends a key square, leaves this file open for rooks. And also protects this square, which is important because if here it would be dangerous to put a rook on the e file, but with the bishop guarding, it should be okay. Look at how much of black's position I'm making unsafe. Right? Whereas how much of my position is unsafe? I didn't include what was being attacked. Maybe I should, but I don't think so. I have a lot more space to work with. Yeah, these bishops and queen are just doing a great job. And soon we'll be coming in on this file as well. I think I bring rook f to e1? I'm not sure. Being over here doesn't seem very useful right now, and being on the f file doesn't seem very good either. But like the question is, which file will open up sooner, D or F? I guess I could force the F file open. Oh, that's a good move. Well, I mean, I don't know. It's fine, I guess. It attacks my queen and my bishop, but the queen can just get out of the way. And if you want to trade a rook for a bishop and a pawn, I'm okay with that. Oh, what about here? I'm really tough to get at here, aren't I? And maintaining pressure on this sensitive area, so that if I eventually get a rook there, I'm going to be happy. I can also give back some material, just like defend, to simplify the position. I don't think I will. It's too bad now. They now can get onto this square, which might be useful somehow. Although I think this is a more likely developing move for what black. No. Okay, well, let's get on the open file finally. And probably just double up here. Or here. Whoa. If here, rook just retreats. I don't really want that. I want to get up here, so that there's room for my second rook here. This also, by the way, attacks the c5 pawn, meaning they will have to probably push it, or else defend it from behind with the rook, I guess. Rook to c8. Which would be fine. Oh, okay, sure. Or rook to a5, that works also, I think. Does it though? Check. Oh my god, I could have done this earlier. No, I couldn't. There was a rook there. Check. Only legal move. King there. Then what? I actually don't see any follow-up. Feels bad, but I think we just let that one go. Well, that's nice, isn't it? But now I can pin the pawn? Yeah, being way up on material means that even like things that look like weird little mistakes often are just fine. Because you find a resource lying around somewhere to deal with the threat. It must be said this bishop is getting a bit claustrophobic. Nope, just win the queen with check. And soon mate, I imagine. Okay. Well, that one just went swimmingly from front to back, I feel like. I'm sure I made some mistakes, but not nearly as many or as grievous as my opponents. I don't see any question marks on my mid-game. Hey! No inaccuracies, no mistakes, no blunders. I mean, as I think I said before, it is kind of easier to get stuff like this when you're just given a bunch of material early, because even little mistakes are not big enough to count as inaccuracies because you're just still hugely winning. For example, like what happened here? I dropped half a pawn, and it's like, don't worry about it. You're still fine. That's not even an inaccuracy. It didn't like my knight there. It said instead, knight here. Threatening this knight, I guess. Huh. I thought it would be a little bit difficult to keep this guy defended, but maybe not. And in the end, it says it's actually only like a 0.2 difference, not 0.5, which was originally what it thought. And if we go here and let it analyze deeper, will it revise its estimate at all? I don't know. This seems, it was fine. And then there was something bad in the opening here, actually. It says don't make that check. Instead, just go for the center. I mean, this is a common enough position. I should really learn what the answer is, and apparently it's this. Takes, and they can't immediately attack my knight. I've got a pawn in the center. I'm a bit more developed. Okay. I'll try to remember that. So remind me, my opponent dropped a piece sort of early. Was that to the fork, or was that last game? I think it was this idea was last game, wasn't it? What happened in this one? Oh yeah, they let me win this pawn with bishop here. What would be better? Oh, wow, plus 2.2. Maybe it was more than a pawn. I guess not. It was a pawn in some position, maybe. So what would be better? Probably anything, right? Like, let's just do a simple developing move. It says that's fine, but it prefers c5. Yeah, make space for the knight and grab the center. I agree, that is better. Okay. Oh, yeah, this fork was in this game. Okay. They tried this. You got to do something else. You can't well, I mean, I guess queen here stops the immediate threat. Because it's attacked twice, defended only once. They might be able to renew the threat, but you can put it off for a bit. You can also just take. Oh, that's probably pretty bad. Takes. The queen is now here. And so you don't really want to move the bishop and force this awful queen trade. And then this pawn push would work because the bishop is pinned, right? Pinned-ish. So I don't think queen here does it. I think you just need to move one of your pieces out of the way. Which one would you prefer? None of them can go anywhere very nice. Maybe this drop back here? Ooh, it hates that. Take first? Okay, but then? Oh! This pawn is hanging. It's attacked twice. Defended only once. Interesting. Okay, well, I missed that. And those were the only two black mistakes, huh? The rest of it was just like grinding out the advantage, I guess. What was the opening called? Fildor! I knew there was a Fildor existed. I didn't know what it was. Yeah, I guess it's this D pawn advance to defend. It says just retreat with the bishop, huh? Because they should trade. Yeah, it puts my knight in a bit of an awkward spot, I guess. He gets kicked around by pawns. That's fair. And it does like going all the way back, or, well, not all the way, but as far back as is reasonable. So here... Right, I win this pawn, but they win a pawn back. I thought I had something here, right? If they actually do win the pawn back, don't I get this? I'm like up a pawn now. Wait. Oh. They pick up the knight by checking. Oh, I'm glad that didn't happen. I was definitely going to fall into that mistake. I just didn't realize at all the queen could move diagonally. It's a recent patch to the rules that she can do that. Yikes. Okay, so I got really lucky here that they didn't make a good move. Because I was about to make a bad one. Yeah, and then this just dropped everything. Alright, let's flip the board back now. It says this drops a pawn. Yep, it's that one. Okay. Right, which I did notice eventually. Would have been better to just move the knight. It likes going up here. I thought that there would be some trouble. But, oh, that drops this pawn. I see. So the knight can't actually be kicked. Good point. Why bishop here instead of hanging onto the pawn? Because a bishop is so important right now? It's a little weird. Yeah, it says they're supposed to trade. And then just grab the pawn. Boy, it feels so bad to let them isolate my pawn, this pawn, win another pawn. All that just to keep both bishops on? Oops. Ah! I don't like it. Where were we? Here. Yeah, so they were supposed to take the bishop, and they didn't. And I retreat. Yeah, and that queen move was a problem. Really? Knight here. I like the idea of knight here. It's kind of cute, right? Because it attacks my queen. But what's the deal with knight here? You get the rook. But isn't it better to get the queen? Maybe not because my rook could take? I see. That's the difference. You're just sacking a knight for a pawn instead of sacking a knight for... Well, I don't know. This is like sacking a knight and a queen. Ah, for a pawn, a rook, and knight. Because you get this guy in the end. Okay. So yeah, that would have been better. Oh, it actually likes my queen here. It thinks it's second best, but very close compared to this. I was a little worried this might be wrong. Lichess will restart in 9 minutes. Oh, this is pinned! It's pinned! I'm so bad at pins. It's pinned and threatens mate in 1, so it's more urgent than this bishop. Okay. Oh, or than this, in fact, rook. So it says, okay, just go back to your idea from before, please. But still no. I continue to miss it. Oh, true, I don't have to react to the bishop attack. I could just attack a queen. But it says here is, in fact, good. This is fine. Everything's fine. Oh, I missed that! This is defended by... I saw that this is defended, but I didn't really see how useful it was going to be to put a bishop there. I did the opposite. I thought bringing in a rook would be pretty cool, but a bishop is even better. Forking the rook and queen. Now it says, forget that stinky bishop. Just go in for this check. As we saw, this is the only legal move. And this follow-up is why that works. I didn't see this move before, and I'm still not seeing it now, so okay. And it's actually saying, just like, save the rook. You can't save the queen, she's skewered anyway. Or pinned. And then, yeah, everything would be fine. It was fine anyway, of course, but... Okay, so missed some endgame tactics, but in a position where I was clearly up. So it says mate in 6. Let's see if I can find it. What are the legal moves? Well, rook takes. That would do it. That's legal. King here, here, or here are also legal. Rook takes seems obvious because it captures a piece, but I think would be disastrous because of queen here? No? You're guarding that. So that makes it even better, right? Rook takes, rook check. King has to move here. Which I saw before, but I didn't see a winning continuation. And I still don't. I mean, obviously there's millions of winning continuations, but no, like, direct checkmate sequence. I guess rook here would be pretty good. Threatening this. And not really any way out of it that I can see. I guess maybe rook here slows it down a bit. I don't know. I can't see it. Show me the checkmate, Stockfish. So it says takes here. And we don't check. We just, focus everything on this pawn so that when they defend, you can even bring in another rook if you want. Although it says, actually, that it's just as good to just take it right now, huh? Check here. And then here. Here forces king there. Oh wow! And then the king. So the queen covers all, like when she's adjacent to a king, she generally covers all squares of the same color she is. The king has two escape squares of the other color. And here, the dark squares are covered by black pieces. How cool is that? So you have to, when you're trying to checkmate a king with basically just a queen attacking that's supported, and like none of your own pieces that are helping, you have to have some way to cover the other colors, uh, often with their pieces or something like that. I'm more used to seeing this on a diagonal, where it's more like, how do I edit the board? I'm more used to seeing it like this, where the king can't get out these ways because the queen is covering, and the queen is covering everything else. But yeah, sure, it applies just as well on a ranker file. Cool. Okay, that I think the post-mortem might have actually been longer than the game there. Oh well. I hope you guys are into that. Anyway, that's all for today. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.